Okay, how are we going to find our happy star? But before we try to find our happy star, what is a happy star? Well, happy stars are a group of stars that I've renamed. They're usually uh, thought of as the brightest naked eye stars, and they're the stars that you can see um, at night without having to use a telescope. And the list of them can be found in a couple of different places. You can find it in a wonderful book called The Invisible Universe or in Wikipedia. And the list is numerically based on how bright or how luminous the stars are, and they've been measured by um, astronomers. And once you find that list, go there and write down the names of the first 28 brightest eye stars. And once you do that, you'll have the start of what I've renamed happy stars, because once you know how to change the basis of these stars from just being listed in a book or wherever, we'll teach you how to find them, and we'll teach you how to connect them to your birth year. So next to each of the stars on your list, starting with Sirius, write a letter of the alphabet, and you'll go through the first 26 of the stars and come to Z, and then the last two stars, which we refer to sometimes as the position, you'll list Z plus or Z plus plus, because we're concerned with just the first 28 of these stars. And those two extra positions are there because in our alphabet, we only have 26 letters of the alphabet. So those last two positions refer to those last two stars. And probably the last one might be Maya Placebus. Some lists are a little bit different. It doesn't really matter, because once you get your list down, that's the one that you're going to be most concerned with. So now that you have your list of stars and the letters of the alphabet, plus those two extra positions, you're going to find your position in something that I've named the calendar cycle. And the way you easily can find what your position is in the calendar cycle is, starting with 1989, write down all of the years in order. So you go 1989, 1990, all the way to 2017. And next to each of those, you're going to put once again, you're going to put a letter of the alphabet plus those last two positions, like I said. So you're going to have two lists now. You're going to have one with the brightest eye stars and one with the years. Now, if your birth year doesn't fall within those that first bunch of years, just add or subtract 28 to it, and you'll come up with the year that you were born. Now, the way we go from one list to the other list is very simple. We just take that letter of the alphabet, and starting with your birth year, find out what letter of the alphabet you've got. For instance, like with mine was 1945, so I would add 28 or whatever to come up with the number. But I've done many of these lists. We call these lists of numbers the cycle that you're born in. If you were born in the one that started in 1989, that's your cycle. So then you take that number, whatever it might be, find out what your letter of the alphabet is, and then connect it with the letter of the alphabet of the group of stars. So I would go from my position, which was M, in the years, to the position on the list, which is A Crux, and that's my brightest star. And don't forget, when you're listing those, that first list of stars, make sure you put the constellation that they fall in. And there's a couple of really good books about that. One of them, which I have right here, is called The Stars, The Definitive Guide to the Cosmos. And once you find your constellation in that book, they'll give a chart number for where in the sky that your constellation will be located. When I say your constellation, it just depends on what your star is. If your star is in A Crux, like mine, my constellation is called Crux. What yours might be depends on what your star is. And don't forget, or don't get worried or concerned about the fact that some constellations may have 2 or 3 of our brightest stars. And at this point, we can start calling them happy stars because they're connected through the position, through your birth year. And back to the point about where your constellation is, the chart numbers, which are in that book, will easily help you locate where your constellation is in the sky, which might be a little new to you if you've never done that. Or you might go to the different astronomy chart books that show you how to find your constellation based on your chart. And so from now on, once you look up in the sky, you'll be able to find out where your star is, where your constellation is. And now that you have that, that'll be your happy star.